Hello, beautiful friends and fellow word lovers. Welcome back to Pocket of Poetry. Today's video is going to be me going through my entire book collection and packing it and getting rid of it, unhauling some things, hopefully. Not too many, but I'm going to be kind of showing you guys my collection, talking about my books a little bit, so hopefully you enjoy, and let's jump right into it. Okay, so here is my entire bookshelf. Pretty much all my books, at least all the ones that are packed, are here, so I'm just going to be going through them as quickly as I can and talking about them. We're going to see if there's any here that I want to get rid of as well, because I do want to pare down my collection from the things I don't want. Like, I definitely don't have a very big collection by like BookTube standards, so I'm trying to grow it, but so yeah, I won't be getting rid of too many. Let's just jump into it. So up on the top shelf is where I put all of my like marriage and self-help books, and then a couple of other like colorful books, because I was kind of doing a colorful theme on this shelf. So I'm going to show you guys my marriage books, because why not? So this book is called Real Love in Marriage. It's by Greg Bear. I think this might be my favorite one that I have. It's a really good book. I read it a while ago. I probably should read it again, but anyways, I think I got this as a wedding present. I'm going to start stacking those in there. So then I have this one. It's called Love is a Choice, and this one's also really good. Another one that we got as a wedding present. And then this one is called Love and Respect by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. I've actually never read this entire book, and it's on my TBR. I really, really want to read it. I've heard a lot of good things about it. So I'm going to hopefully be reading that soon. I don't know when, but at some point. And then I also threw The Vanishing Half up here because it was like colorful, and it went with the vibe of this shelf up here, and like my books down here were all black, and so this obviously did not go, so I just threw it up there. I did like this book, but I wasn't like obsessed with it, so I don't know. I definitely am going to keep it for now, but at some point I might get rid of it. We'll see. And then I've got some self-help. Oh, actually no, here's another marriage book. The Proper Care and Feeding of a Marriage by Dr. Laura Schlesinger. This is a really good marriage book, actually. I read this one like when I first got married, so it's been a while, but it was very good. And then I have Write It Down, Make It Happen, which I read at the beginning of this year, and I totally recommend this book. It was so good, and actually totally helped me manifest the apartment that we're about to move into, because it talks about like writing things down that you want, and I wrote down everything that I wanted in this apartment and got pretty much everything. So really like this book. It's really good. I'm not like really into self-help books, but there are a few that I like. Here's another one. It's called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. I read this one at the beginning of 2020. It was like my self-help book for 2020. And it's a good one. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever read it again, but I feel like it's a good book to have, you know? Just like it talks about like the power of habits. And then I have A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. I've never read this. I bought it like a few years ago. I was in this major Eckhart Tolle phase and like spiritualism phase, and I was like trying to learn all this stuff. I actually read his other book, which The Power of Now. I read The Power of Now. I did like it. Then I bought this one and I never read it. So I don't know if I'm gonna ever read it, actually. It's about like awakening to your life's purpose. I actually do want to read this. I do. Alright, I'm gonna keep this one. I really also like how happy and like bright the cover is. So, yeah. And then I have this little book. I think I'm actually gonna get rid of this one. It's called How the West Was Won. It's by Louis L'Amour. I really like Louis L'Amour. He writes like, he's an old author that writes like old Western books, and I think he's a really cool dude. Here's a picture of him on the back. I read his memoir. It's called Education of a Wandering Man a while ago, and I really liked it. I would love to own a copy of that at some point, but this book I just don't ever see myself reading ever again. So I think I'm gonna get rid of this one. We're gonna put it in the unhaul pile. And then I have another one that I think I'm gonna unhaul. It's called The Boys in the Boat by Daniel James Brown. I bought this book for my freshman year of college. It was like our summer reading assignment or something for like all the freshmen. I didn't ever finish it, and I just don't ever see myself reading it. It's about like the rowing team in this college that ends up going to the Olympics. It's like a true story. And like, you know, it sounds good and everything, but I just don't think I'm ever gonna read it. So I think we're gonna unhaul that. And then I've got my Picture of Dorian Gray, which I of course love and will always keep. And I have my 2 Rupee Car books. I've got Milk and Honey and Sun and Her Flowers. I love these so much. They're such Instagram poetry, but they're just so pretty and aesthetic, and I love them. So throwing those in the box. And then I have Without the Mask. I ranted about this book in my March wrap-up. It was so good. Read it if you like progressive religious stuff, I guess. Loved this. And then I have these notebooks, which are also going to go in the box. I have this creative writer's notebook that I bought years ago, and I keep it because it's pretty. It's like a cute pop of color on my shelf, but I just don't think I'm ever gonna write in it again. I don't know, maybe I will one day, but yeah. I have these 2 books that I just threw up there, On Her Knees and With the Fire on High, both books that I read last month in April. So we're gonna throw those in there. Moving on to the next shelf down. So this shelf has a lot of like things on it that I need to pack up as well. I have my little poetry magnets. If you saw my first Write Poetry With Me video, I used these for some inspo. And then I have my diffuser, which actually needs the books on this shelf. I just had to get everything cleared off. So I've got a lot of old books on here, books that I have had for a long time. I showed these in like my poetry collection, but I have these like poems for 2 voices. They're so nostalgic. I've had these for so long. There's this Joyful Noise one about insects, and then there's this I Am Phoenix one about birds. They're just really cute, but they're totally falling apart, but I'm okay with it. I'm gonna keep them anyways. Actually fit right into this crevice in the box. And then I have this book. It's called Living a Beautiful Life by Alexandra Stoddard. My grandma gave this to me like right before I got married. It's just this really cute book about like making your life more aesthetic and like adding little details to like make things pretty and like keep your house in order. It was written in like the 80s. You can see this is a picture of the author on the back. But it's just like really, I don't know. I really like this book. I think I want to reread it at some point, especially now that I'm moving to a new place, and see if there's anything in it that I like find applicable. And if not, I might get rid of it, but I think I'm going to keep it for now. I have this one. It's Moods by Louisa May Alcott. This is one that I've had like since I was really young, and I think I read it when I was like 13 or 14. That was the last time. So like, I don't know. Should I reread this? Should I give you my thoughts on it now as a 22-year-old? I think I might do it actually. I don't know. I just think this could make a fun video, reading like old classics that I haven't read in years and seeing what my opinions on them are, because I honestly do not even remember what this book is about at all. I'll read this and give you all my thoughts at some point. I love this book, and I have to tell you guys about this book. This was my most beloved book as a young adult, I guess. It's called The Orchard by Crystal and Jensen. It's like this little wholesome romance about 2 people who meet at a cherry, the main character's name is Allison, and she runs her mother's cherry orchard because her mother died when she was young, and then she meets this dreamy guy, and they end up falling in love, and there's all this drama. It's also a religious book. It has to do with religion, and like a lot of the storyline has to do with religion, but it's a really cute story, and I loved it as a kid. It was like my favorite romance ever, and I reread it so many times. So I feel like I have to keep it just for the nostalgia of how much I loved this growing up. And you know, maybe one day I'll reread it. I kind of doubt that I'll reread it again, but I want to keep it just for the nostalgia. So yeah. Another stack. We have some plays. Most of these plays I have because I either taught a class or was in a class where I had to read them. So Our Town, I taught a class where we discussed this play. I also actually directed this play, Love Slavers Lost. This is a good one. I don't know. And I like having as much Shakespeare as possible in my collection because I love Shakespeare. I especially love, this is one of my favorite plays. In Our Town, I don't know if I'm ever going to like reread this, but it's good to have. I feel like it's good to have classics and plays in your collection. So, and then I have this book. I have a lot of really random books, you'll come to find. This one is called Do You Think I'm Beautiful by Angela Thomas. It's a book about God and like having a fulfilling relationship with God as a woman. And I read it years ago, and I remember liking it a lot. I'm just like, I don't know if I'm gonna read it again though. I feel like I am not going to reread this. My mom might want it back. Okay, I'll put this in my unhaul pile. Okay, this book is called Clues to Act in Shakespeare by Wesley Van Tassel. I used this for my acting classes that I taught, and it has a lot of good stuff in here. And I plan to teach more acting in the future and like get involved with directing plays again eventually in the future. So I think I'm gonna keep this for that. And then I've got some fun little classics and stuff. So I have the collected poems of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. This book, I don't know actually if I'm gonna keep this book, and here's why. I have this box set right here that has all these poets in it, and one of them is Elizabeth Barrett Browning. I have like Oscar Wilde, Walt Whitman, William Wordsworth, Edward Lear. Like I have all these different poets. I love this box collection, by the way. It is so pretty. My in-laws gave it to me for Christmas 2 years ago. I love it. I don't think that I need this full volume because I already have a volume of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, and I just don't see myself ever like diving into this one in particular. So I think I'm also going to unhaul this. I'm actually unhauling a lot more than I thought I would. I'm kind of proud of myself for this, I'm not gonna lie. Right, and then I have my copy of Little Women. I have to tell you guys, this copy of Little Women, my high school boyfriend gave it to me when I was 16, and because I loved this book. This was like my favorite book as a teenager and as a kid. I read it like a million times, and I had a really old falling apart copy, so he got me a new one for my birthday, and isn't that just cute? Anyway, so that's my copy of Little Women. Obviously not getting rid of this. And then I also have The Bronze Bow by Elizabeth George Spear. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of these books before, but I have 2 books by her actually. I have The Bronze Bow and I have The Witch of Blackbird Pond. I loved these books as a kid. This one's about like the Salem witch trials, and this one's about like biblical times and has Jesus in it, but it's so good. It's such a good story. Both of them are. So I love these ones. I want my kids to read these one day. They're so good. Hey, oh my gosh, this shelf is like almost empty. So I have a copy of Macbeth. Again, I'm going to keep all my Shakespeare, so we're not getting rid of that one. I have a copy of Les Mis, which, look how freaking huge it is. I really want to read Les Mis this year, but I'm so, every time I go to read it, I'm just like so overwhelmed by it because it's so freaking huge. And I'm actually going to see a live show of Les Mis this month, and I wanted to read it, like, not necessarily finish the whole thing before that, but read some of it before that. So hopefully I start this soon. I'm really hoping this is like on my TBR like for soon, but it's just so big, so throwing it in there. And then I have my copy of Emma by Jane Austen. Sadly got ripped because it was a gift, and it got, again, from my in-laws. They're the best. And yeah, but I love this book. Love Jane Austen. It's my only Jane Austen book that I own, which is really a shame. I really need to, like, at least Pride and Prejudice I need to get, because that one's my favorite. And then I have my copy of 1984. You guys know I read that earlier this year. I'm obviously keeping this because, again, it's a classic. So this is my second shelf all done. And then we move on to the third shelf, which has all of my new purchases on it, or most of my new purchases on it. I'm really excited. So I have The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. This one I just barely bought, and I'm like so excited to read this. Throwing it in next to Les Mis because they're both real fat. And then I have King of Scars. I'm going to leave this one out just because I don't want to pack it because I might want to read it soon, like before we move. And then I have 2 box sets for the Grishaverse. I've got my Shadow and Bone trilogy. I really like these covers. These are my favorite covers. They're so pretty. And then I have my Six of Crows as well. These books were just so much fun, you guys. I had so much fun reading these, especially this one. I'm always going to keep them forever. I love them so much. Alright, so I had to get another box. Filled one up almost for these. So, I'm just going to go through these really fast because you guys have I've talked about all of these books like a lot recently. So I have The Night Circus, which is a recent buy and is on my TBR. I have The Secret History. Y'all know how I feel about that already. I have The Immortalists. I have A Darker Shade of Magic, which I was going to read in April, but I actually haven't read this one yet because I want to read it with my husband. And we're finishing the Grishaverse books first, but then we're going to start this series, so I'm really excited about that. And then I have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, of course, my love. And then I've got Midnight Sun, which was a book that I read earlier this year and quite enjoyed as well. And then we're going to get into the books back here. So I have a copy of Eat, Pray, Love by Miss Elizabeth Gilbert. She is just my favorite. I really, really like her writing. I got this book secondhand and I read it. I think it's been almost 3 years since I read this, but I remember really liking it. So of course I'm going to keep this book, and I eventually do want to reread it. I have these books. I talked about these in my music to books recommendation video. The Rumors and Lux by Anna Godberson. They're like these kind of like Gossip Girl, like historical sort of mysteries. And I actually decided, I was thinking about getting rid of these, but then I decided I actually want to reread them for a video. And I don't know, I think maybe I'll do a video where I just reread old books. I think that would be kind of fun. Like reread old books that I haven't read in years, and then like let you guys know if I still think they're worth it, if I still think they're good, and then if not, I can just get rid of them. But I'm gonna keep these for now, and I do think they're cute covers. They make a cute little addition to my bookshelf. And then I've got this monstrous copy of War and Peace, another one that I really, really want to read one day. I actually have read quite a bit of this. Same with Les Mis, actually. Les Mis and War and Peace. I've started them both on different occasions, but never actually finished them. So, yeah, one day I will read this one, for sure. It's on my list. And then I have my copies of, oh, that's okay, I was going to take those down anyway. I'm really hot. I'm going to take my sweater off. Hold up, overheating in my sweatshirt. So, I have my copies of The Hunger Games and Catching Fire. I know, I only have the first 2 books. I don't have the third one. Don't ask me why. I bought these last year and read them for the first time, actually, in 2020. Quite enjoyed them, loved them. The third book just never, I ordered it, but it like returned to sender or something like that, and then I just never bought it again. So eventually I'll get the third book to the series one day, but it's not really like exceedingly high on my priority list right now. Then I have my copy of Rebecca, which I love to pieces. Such a good book. And then I have all my Ellen Montgomerys, my very last ones that I am going to be packing up. I'll show you guys. So I have this copy of Anne of Green Gables, which I got from my 3rd grade teacher. So I've had this book for a very, very long time. Eventually, and by eventually I mean hopefully sooner than later, I want to get brand new copies of all of these books, because these are all really old copies and I'm just really not that big of a fan of this one. Plus it's really worn. Because I read it a lot as a kid. But I'm keeping them for now until I can replace them with new copies. But as you can see, I've got these little Bantam books, classics for the entire Anne of Green Gables series. We've got Anne of Avonlea, Anne of the Island, Anne of Windy Poplars, Anne's House of Dreams, Anne of Ingleside, Rainbow Valley, Rilla of Ingleside, and then this one is Emily Climbs, which is book number 2 in the Emily series. I don't have the other ones. There's 3. I only own this one, randomly enough, but this one's actually my favorite in the series. It's really good. If you guys like Anne of Green Gables or Ellen Montgomery, you should definitely check out this series. Emily of New Moon is the first book. It's just really good. Emily is like a really fun heroine. I like her a lot. She's much different than Anne, but I like her a lot. So yeah, these are the last books I'm going to be packing. I'm super out of breath for some reason. This is it for this video. That is it for packing up my bookshelf. I'm taking off the string lights and everything. String lights are coming down. You will not see them again until I'm in the new place. Honestly, look at them. They're so bare. I'm so happy to have finally gotten that done. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully it was fun to like see my book collection, and yeah, I think I'm going to be doing that rereading old books video. I think that's going to be a really fun video. So let me know in the comments if you think that would be fun, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed seeing my collection. Feel free to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you feel like it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.